Hello, everyone, and welcome to YPC Media's webinar series. I'll give it just a second to let everyone into the session. Looks like we've got people joining. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm Katie Fitzgerald. I am the Director of Marketing here at YPC Media. And today I am joined by Corey Honeyman. Thanks, Corey, for joining me today.
Good to be here. Thank you.
We're really excited today. A great topic for you all. I think it's a really hot topic as well. Talking about AI versus Google, really how they're working together, and talking about the future of search. It's something that we're seeing drastic shifts every single day. There's tons of articles and news and information in your face. So we hope that today our goal is to really narrow some of it down, help you understand it, help you digest what you need to know, and how it's going to impact your marketing specifically moving forward. So our agenda here, my slide, is first to just let's start with the status of things. What's been changing? Let's give you an update on what you need to know. One of the hottest trends all marketers are talking about right now is zero-click searches. So we're going to talk about what that is and how you can make sure that you are optimized for that. Then we're going to dive into, I think, what a lot of you are here today for is talking about a huge Google Ads update to their paid ads program with specifically call-only campaigns. We're going to break down all of that for you and what you need to do. And then, of course, talking about where do we go from here. So what is that future proofing that you can do on your marketing strategy to make sure that all of these things that we talk about are things that you can tackle and be ready for, especially going into the new year. So I'm going to dive right in and start with where are things right now. So based on what news outlet you probably listen to, you probably get tons of different stats, but currently right now, still 85% of searches are happening on Google. So Google is still king. 85% is still huge. And we need to just remember that through everything that we talk about. But one of the things we're seeing is that dominance is shifting. It is decreasing. We're not going to, avoid that, but users are really diversifying where they're searching. They may still do Google searches, but they're adding platforms to their search. Being that they're searching on TikTok, YouTube, if they want, video results, if they are looking for a conversation and asking multiple questions, they may be using their AI, ChatGPT, or I know I'm starting to be guilty of it, talking into your phone and asking for help on things and doing your search queries that way. So we're really seeing multiple users using multiple softwares and browsers to do their searches. It's not only just Google anymore. They're really adding to those, or based on the results they're looking for, they're adjusting their search. So anywhere that they can get questions, they're asking, right? So that goes for any social platform, all the AIs that are out there and things like that. The real key that we're seeing with this too is that now the search is going beyond a keyword. People aren't just searching insurance near me or who's the best marketing agency near me, or for my industry. Those really short searches, they're searching full sentences. They're speaking into their device. So it's becoming way more conversational in the way people are searching. So that impacts the way that you need to prepare your marketing and your SEO and how your business communicates online with people, being ready to handle those conversations. Then we're seeing a lot of AI tools, especially the new release of ChatGPT Atlas. If this isn't something you've seen, this is ChatGPT's new browser that they're putting out. So think of, you have Google Chrome as your browser, or if you're using Safari. Now, currently only on Mac, they have ChatGPT Atlas. I put a little example of what that looks like there, but essentially you have your ChatGPT involved on every web page that you're looking at in your browser. So you have almost a little assistant in there. Really cool, but totally a new way of shifting, gets people completely out of something like a Google Chrome or Firefox, depending on what you use. So a really interesting update that's definitely going to shift users when that becomes available more widespread. And then there's new availability for advertising. So with all of these new browsers, search campaigns and things like that, there's new opportunities for paid programming. So we are seeing places like ChatGPT beginning to test their paid ads. new platforms coming to, the head of the game that people are really switching their programming and again diversifying where their ads are served because users are going so many places right now that it's important to try to cover wherever they are and make sure that you can be found. So that's my long-winded state of where things are currently. But one of the things that we want to dive into is this theory or terminology called zero-click searches. So really what we want to dive into is what happens when somebody performs a Google search. So currently, right now, if you do use Google Chrome or if you're a Google user, you typically see this AI overview no matter what search you do. Users do have the ability to turn that off, remember, but most of us are seeing that. And then you have to scroll to see anything beyond that. So meaning you have to scroll down to see your ads, your organic locations or map or anything like that before you get to that. So a majority of searches now are ending with no click. That means that the user is simply doing the search and they're getting the information that they need from the snippets, the AI overview, maps, or reviews that are pulled into the data that's shown. And if you look at this graph here, this was a desktop study that they did on what searches were happening, what happened after somebody performed that Google search. And the good news is that almost 35% were still clicking on an organic listing. So really proving that your local SEO is still really king of what you're working on as far as your marketing campaigns. The alarming part, again, let's remember this was a desktop study here, but clicking on paid ads was under 1%. So people weren't able to get down to the paid ads under this AI overview and things like that. But I think the really most telling thing is that almost 45% did absolutely nothing. So they did their search and likely got the result that they needed and they could move on with their day. So they weren't clicking onto a business or going to read more on a blog post to really get down into the information that they were looking for. So that's a huge, huge shift because we almost always see a click. We usually used to talk about, oh, nobody goes to page two, right? Now that's definitely not even a thought in anyone's mind to go to page two of Google. You're most always going to get your information right on the top of Google or on that first page. So your goal here is really to own the space above the click. So how do you do that is optimizing your listings. So all of your local SEO. So that's going to be a lot of you most likely have our speed listings program here, making sure that your name, address, phone number is consistent across the internet on as many listings and as many prioritized listings that Google sees. And you're also going to want to boost your reviews. So reviews are really important because AI is pulling from them. They're looking for that customer unbiased opinion that they then can match to a search query that's performed. And another thing that's really huge right now that we haven't seen come up to fruition yet is that AI overviews are not trackable. So that is a huge disadvantage when you look at your organics. So we typically, if you are someone that we manage your Google business profile, we're look at those insights, right? And look at your impressions, your website clicks. And if you are someone that's been seeing a decrease in some of those, it is likely due to this AI overview. We're not able to see if you came up for those right now. So we don't know where that's going to go, especially into next year. But we do know Google's making a lot of changes. And I know one of the things that a lot of you came on today's webinar to hear more about is one of the changes they're making to their Google search ads. So Corey, let's dive into this call only ads.
Yeah, so lots of adjustments obviously across the board, and we're seeing that on paid search as well on that side. So yeah, the big announcement that we received that everybody across the board has received last month was that call ads are being retired. And they're saying, and here's the notice that's on the screen. This is the official word from Google. They've been hinting at this for months and months. We've been knowing that, but now that they have dates on it, we know that this is real. So call ads, the actual call only ads are going away, and we need to transition to responsive search ads with a call extension. So I want to be really clear, so there's not confusion. They're not removing the ability to bring in inbound calls from your ads. That's still going to happen. What they're removing is the ability to do only that with your ads. AKA there is no longer a way to keep people from choosing to come to your website. So when your ad goes out there to people, one of the options that they could choose is to make a phone call like they've always done, like you've always had coming into your agency. But there will also be the ability to go to your website and take action there and get more action. Call only ads are very bottom of the funnel, and you know this, and that's why many of our clients use them and love them. They're teed up for the people that are ready to purchase, ready to buy, if things are set up correctly. It's very bottom of the funnel. And what Google wants to do is to expand that funnel and get people also who maybe are more middle of the funnel, where they're really investigating, considering your brand, but they're not ready to quite go with that. So the notice here is that in terms of the dates, we have until this coming February to create call only ads. We can still create them, but after February 2026, we will not be able to create any new ones. Then Google will let those ads that are created, those call ads, they'll let them run for another year until February 27. And then in February 27, those ads will stop serving. So again, with these dates, this isn't theoretical anymore. Google is rolling this out and is going to do this. And so we need to help you get prepared for that. We want to make that transition as smooth as possible. On the next slide, um, I want to break down kind of what the difference here, what this looks like. There's actually in our minds, there's a lot of advantages and some positives to this change. Obviously, this is changing how ads have been served and how we're used to bringing in leads for our clients, and so there's adjustments there, but there are some positives. One of the big ones is there's going to be, I believe, fewer what I call oh shoot clicks. So on the left here is an example of a call only ad. You can see it. You see the sponsored tag at the top. You see the business name, the website, the headline, bundle, auto, and home. Then you see the call 877, whatever. Any click anywhere on that ad tries to turn into a phone call. But it just intuitively as a user, and when you look at that ad, I know this happens. We know this. We see the data. Many people will click on the headline, bundle, auto, and home, and in their mind, they're expecting to go to a website to get more information from this agency and what that looks like. And then all of a sudden, they're prompted, "You want to make this phone call to this number?" And they're like, "No, no, I don't want to do that." Or they click yes, but then they're like, "Oh no, I'm not ready to make a phone call." And that's when you see on your call reports 10-second calls, 15-second calls, and you're like, "My team member didn't even have a chance to even say hello to this person." And the pain point with that, the frustrating point with that is that you get charged for the click, not for the call. You get charged because the ad was clicked. And that has been frustrating, I know, for advertisers for a long time. So I believe because of the intuitiveness of just the way the ads are designed, I believe we're going to see fewer of those type of clicks. If you look at the two ads on screen here, you can see the call only ad, you can see what that looks like. And then you see the responsive search ad on the right. They're pretty much identical in terms of the design and what they look like. You still have the sponsored tag up top. You got the website, the headlines, the description, and the call button on the bottom. But on the responsive search ads where they're making us everyone go to, the only time a click on that ad will go into a phone call is if you actually click on the phone number. Like that's the only thing that will turn it into a phone call. Everything else will bring it into the website. So that's a lot more intuitive. That's what people are expecting to have that kind of experience. And that's what Google wants to deliver on. So that's a positive. I believe that will bring overall our ROI to a better spot because you're going to have less wasted ad spend for that. It's going to also be, yeah, I think it's going to also open up to more types of people. So not just people who are ready to make a phone call, right? But people who also will want to go to your website and they want to fill out a form and they want to converse over email and kind of do some back and forth that way. They're just not ready to make that phone call. It's going to open up to more types of users. It's going to allow us as well to open up to more devices. These ads, these RSAs can serve on desktop devices and tablets, not just on mobile. Call only ads only can serve on mobile phones, but this will allow it to go to all devices. And the last one is because it's running traffic into your website, we can also run these ads 24/7. You can pick up traffic after hours and on the weekends. And a lot of times because there's less demand, you'll see lower CPCs in those times as well. So I think everyone's, a fan of seeing lower cost per clicks across the board when you get more traffic in that way.
That would definitely
So
be great.
yeah,
And to confirm too, that call section on the bottom would only be available during business hours.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we won't program that if you're not there to pick up the phone.
Absolutely. And so everyone knows too, we did a lot some time for some questions. We know this is a huge change to a lot of people running campaigns with us right now, or if you do have a program somewhere else, it will impact those most likely. So if you have questions, there is a Q&A open on here. I believe the chat works as well. So feel free to drop some questions in there because Corey's got one more slide for you all, but then we're going to open it up to some questions and make sure we can answer some of your most telling things and most your biggest concerns, really.
Yeah, we know it's a big shift for sure. So where do you go from here? What are your next steps? Certainly as an agency, we want to encourage you to talk with your account manager. They already know about this, obviously. They're well aware and they can walk you through how to get your campaigns transitioned in the smoothest way possible. One of the things we know on that call that they're going to help you do is really refresh your strategy to now include website visitors. So if you're an agent or you're a business owner and you've run Google Ads, but you've only up until now brought in phone calls from those ads directly, you now need to update your strategy so that you can also include those website visitors. Is your site ready to capture lead information via the form? Is that form dialed in? Is it too long? Is it too short? Do you get all the needed information? Is your team ready to outbound those leads? Are they ready to follow up over email or make those phone calls to chase those down and get that? It's a good time as well to obviously look at your call tracking and your analytics. Make sure that you have the right phone number that you're using, not just on the ads, but also on the website. At YPC, we've got the systems in place. We can get you a unique phone number to use in both spaces to be able to then report on what happened on those phone calls and how to then optimize both your website and the ads. Um, One thing we would encourage is we look at these dates. We have until February of this year to keep creating call ads, and then after that, we can't create them anymore, and they can run another year. We would say don't stop running call ads. If you've already got call ads going, keep them going. There's going to be a lot of shifts over the next few months in that whole ecosystem, and there could be opportunity there, we know, for fewer advertisers to be in that space. That can create better metrics for you in at least, if nothing else, in this next year. So we would say keep those call ads going, but we would say don't not also integrate these responsive search ads. We would say get those going, start testing your website, start testing a landing page that we make for you, or maybe it's time to make a full website and really get your brand kind of rebranded and your presence online done at the next level for yourself. So let's start that process now. Let's start working through that with you, but probably have some questions coming in. So
Yeah, the first question we had come in was we have a click to call ad running currently. If I'm understanding correctly, we'll be able to run that campaign until February 2027.
that's correct. Yes, yes. Those are, if they're already made and set up like they are for you, you can keep running them for another year and a few months. Yep.
And it is something to add to this that we'll be monitoring really closely. So obviously not being able to create them as of this upcoming February in 2026. We're going to be monitoring for, any algorithm changes, if we see any disadvantages to running them throughout next year. It is something that we'll be really paying closely attention to on every single account that we have, because it is always something to consider that, if they're making this shift, does Google want to prioritize these types of campaigns? We're not sure yet. We have to really see what happens when we make that shift.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
The next question was, will we also be able to add the responsive search ads to our current ads?
Yes, yes. So we can actually layer those responsive search ads into your existing campaign as it is. So we wouldn't need to reinvent the wheel or reinvent your keyword targeting or um, you've if you've been with us for a while, you've invested a lot in your search in these paid ads and you've developed a really good negative keyword list and what can hold back the traffic you don't want. So all that would still apply, wouldn't change, just layers right on with that. It's a good question.
Amazing. We did have a couple come in to Corey ahead of time. Um, so the first one being, what if my website's not trackable and I only want calls?
Yeah, if your website's not trackable and you only want phone calls, we're going to need to work with you in a solution to help with that. We can't, the problem with that is we can't not have people come to your website. And so, yeah, there's landing pages that we can easily create for you. You can talk with your account manager on that, where that can happen. But yeah, we can
Yeah.
there's another thing too, like as we talk about creating a website for you, um, yeah, yeah, we can put that form on there. But we can also set it up so that it's really the only action that can be taken on that landing page that we create for you is a phone call, and then that gets tracked. So we would want to talk with you about that for sure.
Yeah. And again, this isn't, as of this coming year that you need to turn these off. You'll still be able to run them. But the thing to remember moving forward is that we know that there's traffic and volume for phone calls in your area, especially if you're running a campaign now. Going past 2027, that traffic's still going to be there. And the only way to get those phone calls is to have these ads on. So I think one of the messages we want to make sure that you all understand today is that we're not saying to turn off these campaigns or, fully switch into the responsive search ads. It's going to be a gradual change that we want to help guide you through with your account manager. So it's going to be really important that you speak with them every 30 days, really tune into those appointments, especially over the next quarter here, making sure that you're involved. Um, the next question I had was about extensions. So, what other extensions can go on the ad? I think
Yeah,
maybe
so
explain what an extension is first. I'll go back to
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so with call, yeah, you see it here on the screen. Bring it up so I can see it as well. On the on the left, the call ad, it seems pretty trimmed down. It's got the headline and the short description and then the phone call button there. On the RSAs, it'll bring in all the extensions that are available. So extensions you can see here where it says auto home, condo, renters. That's actually a structured snippet, one of the call assets that's pulling into the actual ad copy. And we best practice always is to get all the extensions, all the assets filled in as much as would apply for your business. It just gives you more real estate that Google can then pull together as it puts that ad together and serves it out there in real time. Um, Site link extensions are a big one that we've not been able to use on call ads because it's not driving traffic to a website, but responsive search ads are. And so those are great in the sense that they give specific links into your website. If you want an auto quote, we can go right to your auto quote page. If you want a home quote, we can go right to your home, or if you, whatever part of your business. And those take up more real estate on the ads. And so those in particular are really good. There's image extensions that can pull in as well to get an image, your logo, your business logo to increase your branding and your awareness. So a lot of good perks from that side.
awesome. So, I think we hit most all of the questions that we had. We still have a few more minutes, so feel free to put questions in. But if anything comes up between, after we conclude today's webinar, make sure that you reach out to your account manager. I'll have a QR code at the end here to join our Facebook group too. We'll be continually adding updates as we see them there as well. But one of the things that we want to kind of end on is how do we get you ready for the future of search beyond just those Google call campaigns, right? So ads are a huge portion, but like Corey said, they're just the bottom of the marketing funnel. So Making sure one of the things that you're working on is diversifying where you're found. So making sure beyond your Google business profile, you have listings out there, you have all of your social accounts, you're active on those, and making sure that you can be found really anywhere. The second one is strengthening your analytics, not just for advertising, right? But also for organics. You want to make sure that you're able to track where your traffic's coming from to your website from any angle, right? So that you can start understanding where people are finding you and help really guide you to create better content on those and make sure you're engaging with those people there. The third thing, which I think we say here at YPC all the time, is prioritizing your reputation. It adds to your authority within Google's algorithm, but really working on those reviews and encouraging people to leave really detailed reviews. A 5-star review is awesome, but if you can encourage them to write something, I know that's, easier said than done, but it is really, really helpful, but also in the way that you answer reviews. Is super important to make sure that you fill out all of those pieces. And then monitoring metrics that matter. So that is hopefully a big reason why a lot of you are working with us at YPC, so that you have transparent metrics that you can dive into, make sure that you are having a positive ROI and really paying attention to those details just as things continue to shift. And I did see we had one more question come in here. So beyond expanding and converting to responsive search campaigns, what other services would be prudent to invest in to prepare for this switch? So I think I'll take this one, Corey. I think the biggest
Yeah,
thing
you got
would
it.
be really looking at your entire marketing funnel for your business. So Google Ads should only be one component to your marketing. And depending on your programs at YPC, we typically start with a lot of organic. As you saw at the beginning, organic is a huge portion of where the search and clicks are happening. Ads is that lower funnel. I'm ready to get a quote. I'm ready to purchase. I'm ready to talk to somebody. So really filling out the middle and even the top of your marketing funnel are going to be really important. So ways to do that would be getting really active on social media, considering running ads there, depending on your location, your budget, a lot of those factors. There are other Google ad types as well. So outside of search campaigns, there are display campaigns as well. Typically, a lot of people that are looking for lower funnel, results and looking for those really cheap cost per clicks and conversions, go for the call ads because it's the most convertible type of lead, but having something that fills the top is really important. And a second thing is really owning your customer list as well as finding new ways to get people in. The biggest trend going on right now is making sure that you're communicating with your customers on a regular basis. It's much cheaper to upgrade a current customer than to find a new one. So making sure that you're, have an email list, you're doing email communication, all of those things are really important. So I realize I just put a ton out there. It's definitely something to talk to your account manager about and really dive into, hey, here's my budget, here's what I'm looking to do. But it also may not make sense to change off of this conversion. The conversion alone to a responsive search ad could really replace what you're doing. So there may not need to be any other change beyond that.
Uh, it's a great question. I'm glad we're asking that and thinking about it. Yeah, it's really going to position. I think it's forcing us to do what any marketing agency would encourage you to do, is to really consider it from a more full funnel perspective. So it's good in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So making sure that a lot of the things that I have up on the screen here, but talking to your account manager and understanding other programs that we have, if that's something that you're looking to find a way to diversify, or monitoring through the change and really sticking a close eye onto it. Just because this is one change doesn't mean you need to change everything with your marketing. So, slow and steady will win the race. I suppose I'll leave on on that mark. Um, But we thank you all for joining. This was a really great topic. I know there's going to be more to come with this, so we really do encourage you to join our Facebook group if you aren't a member there already. It's the best way to access the entire YPC Media staff over here. We all add updates and things that we see. So please feel free to join that, ask questions there, find ways to reach out to us on that. And we hope you all join us for our December webinar and have a great end to the year. And we will see you all next time. Thank you, Corey, for joining me today, too.
Got it. Yep. Thank you.